You crest the ridge at late afternoon, carrying a skin of grain and 3 wheels of cheese your father pressed into your hands before dawn. Below you, stretched across the Valley of Elah, are 2 armies, Israel on one slope, the Philistines on the other. Between them, a dry streambed of pale limestone and silence. It should be a battlefield. Instead, it is a waiting room. You find your brothers in the ranks, and the first thing Eliab does is look at you the way he always looks at you, like something left unfinished. He asks who is watching the sheep. He does not ask how you are. He does not ask how far you walked. The question is a door closing in your face, the way it always closes, and you are so used to the shape of it that you barely feel it anymore. Then the voice comes up from the valley. You have heard thunderstorms roll across the hills above Bethlehem. You have heard lions in the dark. But you have never heard a human voice carry that kind of weight, that kind of absolute certainty that every ear within range belongs to it. The figure stands at the mouth of the streambed, bronze catching the low sun, shield-bearer ahead of him, like a confessor before a god. His name is Goliath of Gath. His armor alone weighs more than you do. He is asking, again, for someone to come down and end this. He has been asking for 40 days. 10,000 men stand in silence and say nothing. You start asking questions, not because you have a plan, because the silence is theologically unbearable to you in a way you cannot fully articulate. You ask what will be given to the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel. The soldiers tell you, the king's daughter, a house freed from taxes, honor in the kingdom. You ask again, just to be sure, because the number of men standing still and saying nothing makes you wonder if you misunderstood something fundamental. Eliab grabs your arm. His face is the color of old anger. He tells you you are proud, that your heart is wicked, that you came only to watch the fighting like it is entertainment. He tells you to go back to your few sheep in the wilderness, as if smallness were a permanent condition and not just his preferred category for you. You look at him steadily. You say, "What have I done now? Is there not a cause?" You are brought to Saul. The king's tent smells of lamp oil and old leather. Military men line the walls, men who have fought in wars you have only heard named. Saul looks at you with the careful attention of a person deciding whether something is useful. Then he says it. You are not able to go against this Philistine. You are young. He has been a man of war since before you could hold a staff. It is not cruel. It is practical. That somehow makes it worse. So you give him the only evidence you have. A lion came out of the brush one afternoon and took a lamb from the flock. You went after it. You grabbed it by the beard and struck it dead. A bear on another occasion. Same outcome. You tell Saul this not to impress him, but because it is simply the logical argument. The God who closed the lion's jaw in your hand will not open Goliath's. Saul looks at you for a long moment. Then he nods. He puts his own helmet on your head, straps his bronze coat around your chest, hands you his sword. You take 3 steps inside all of it and nearly go sideways. The armor is not wrong in principle. It is just not yours. It was built for a different body, a different history, a different way of moving through the world. You have no training in it. You have no memory in it. Wearing it, you are just a smaller man trying to fit inside a larger man's answer to a problem. You take it all off, deliberately, in front of the king, in front of everyone watching. You pick up your staff. You walk to the streambed and crouch down, and you choose 5 smooth stones from the water-worn bed, one by one, feeling their weight, and you put them in the shepherd's pouch at your side. Not 1 stone. 5. Because certainty and mathematics are not the same thing. You walk down into the valley alone. The light is long and rust-colored, and both armies are watching. The streambed crunches under your feet, pale and open, nothing to hide behind, nothing to use as cover. Goliath sees you coming from a distance, and something shifts in his posture. Confusion first, then contempt, then a kind of theatrical disgust. He curses you by his gods. He tells you he will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. He asks if Israel thinks he is a dog, that they send a boy with a stick to answer him. You stop walking, you let him finish. Then you speak, not quietly. You tell him you come in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom he has defied. You tell him this day the Lord will deliver him into your hand. You tell him you will take his head from his shoulders, and that the whole earth will know there is a God in Israel, and that the battle does not belong to the sword or the spear, but to God. You mean every word. There is no performance in it. This is simply what you believe, stated plainly, at full volume, into the face of the largest man you have ever seen. Goliath starts moving toward you. You run toward him. Your hand finds the pouch, finds a stone, finds the leather of the sling, and the motion is as familiar as breathing. 10,000 repetitions in the hills above Bethlehem, with nothing but livestock and sky as witness. The stone leaves the sling at a speed no eye in that valley can track. It strikes Goliath in the center of his forehead, the one gap in all that bronze, the one place where the armor's architect never thought to look. He falls forward into the ground. The sound is enormous. You stand over him. You do not have a sword. So you take his, draw it from its own sheath, and finish what the stone began. The giant's weapon kills the giant. You used one stone. 4 remain in the pouch. For one suspended moment, the valley holds its breath. Then the Philistine army breaks and runs, and Israel roars and chases them, and the afternoon turns into something vast and wild and completely beyond you now. The victory becomes everyone's in the space of 30 seconds. Yours is the hand that threw it, but the story is already leaving you behind. Saul pulls you from the celebration and asks who you are. It is a strange question from a man who spoke to you an hour ago, but his commander Abner does not know your father's name, and Saul needs the accounting done properly. This is not admiration. This is inventory. The women come out of every city with singing and dancing, with tambourines and instruments of joy. Their song gives Saul his thousands. It gives you your 10,000s. The numbers hang in the air between you and the king like a blade not yet drawn. Saul's face does not change, but something behind his eyes makes a decision. You are brought into the palace. Jonathan, the king's son, takes off his own robe and puts it on you. He gives you his armor, his sword, his bow, his belt. It is the most honest thing anyone in the palace will ever do for you. A covenant made from genuine recognition, one warrior seeing another clearly. You will spend the rest of your life trying to be worthy of it. But the palace is not a reward. It is a room where Saul watches you, the way a man watches a fire he did not build and cannot fully control. He knows what Samuel did in secret. The anointing oil that the prophet poured over your head in a room in Bethlehem is not a secret anymore. Not to a king who knows his own blessing was removed and sent somewhere else. An evil spirit troubles Saul in the evenings. They bring you in with your harp, and you play, and the music quiets whatever roils inside him. The same hands that killed the giant now soothe the man who will twice drive a spear at them. You play, and he watches, and the spear leans against the wall within reach, and you do not know yet what it means. Then, one night, it leaves his hand. You move. The spear buries itself in the wall where you were sitting. You are out of the room before he throws the second one. And now the wilderness opens up in front of you, not as punishment, but as the only path forward. Caves and forests and border towns and years of sleeping with one eye open in a life you did not ask for and cannot put down. You refuse to kill him. Twice you stand over Saul in the dark, close enough to end it, and twice you walk away. He is still the anointed king, and that line means something to you in a place too deep to argue with. Your men think you are being merciful. You are not sure mercy is exactly the word. You are just not willing to become the thing that took the throne instead of receiving it. Saul dies on a battlefield, not by your hand, on his own sword after the Philistines wound him. When you hear it, you write a lament. How the mighty have fallen. You mean it. The man who tried to kill you is dead, and the grief is real, and this confuses everyone around you, including yourself. You are 30 when you are made king over Judah. 7 more years before all Israel comes, Jerusalem falls to your forces. You bring the Ark of the Covenant into the city, and you dance in the streets in a linen ephod, undignified and full-throated and completely unbothered by who is watching. Michal, your wife, watches from a window and despises you for it. The woman given to you as a prize, taken back, given to another man, returned, looks down at the king of Israel dancing like a shepherd, and turns away. The stone found Goliath's forehead in one clean afternoon. What follows takes the rest of your life, and even then does not resolve cleanly. Bathsheba. Uriah's name in a dispatch that sends him to the front of the hardest fighting. The sword, the prophet says, will never leave your house. And it does not leave, not through Amnon, not through Absalom, not through any of it. The giant outside you fell in minutes. The giant inside you fights longer, dirtier, and does not lose cleanly at all. You sit in the palace late, long after the lamps have been trimmed, and the harp is still close by, worn smooth at the neck from years of your hands. 5 stones were chosen. 1 was used. You no longer remember where the other 4 are. The valley was never the hard part. The hard part was every morning after it, being the person the stone implied you were. Somewhere out there, someone is standing at the edge of an impossible thing, watching everyone else go quiet, and the stone is already in their hand. They just don't know yet what winning will cost them. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now.